It's no secret that 2023 has been incredible for gaming, but the role-playing game genre has seen some especially great additions. From deep odysseys into fantastical worlds to serious action RPGs with excellent combat, there was something for everyone. Here are our picks for the best role-playing games of the year. Number 12, Diablo IV. Not counting all the controversy surrounding Blizzard Entertainment and former staff, Diablo IV had a rough start when it launched in June. Despite praise for its open world and overall presentation, its build crafting was fairly simplistic, while the endgame was decent at best and grindy at worst. Nevertheless, the development team stuck with it, making several much-needed improvements, reducing the XP grind and quality of life changes. If you want a solid action RPG looter, Diablo IV is in a much better state and worth checking out. Number 11, Lords of the Fallen. Announced 9 years ago, Lords of the Fallen finally launched this year. Hexworks delivered a massive world 5 times larger than its counterparts, introduced a dual realm mechanic that impacted the gameplay and combat, and stuffed it with a dark fantasy aesthetic. It also didn't hurt that combat felt meaty and responsive, with a variety of spells and weapons to dip into. The game isn't without its issues, like some rough encounters with too many enemies, but over 24 patches, splitting PvE and PvP balancing, new spells, stability and performance improvements, and more have made it an even more appealing game to Souls genre fans, even if it's far from the best Souls-like experience this year, which we'll get onto soon. Number 10, Dead Island 2. If we had a dime for every title considered vaporware that miraculously released this year, well, we would have 2 dimes. Blah blah blah, you know the rest, but it still applies because Dead Island 2 is fantastic. Set in post-zombie outbreak Los Angeles, the first-person title emphasized combat and creative ways to slay over a deep story, though the lore is still interesting, or an open world. Despite this, you can customize the 6 slayers in interesting ways thanks to skill cards, customize weapons with different status effects, discover unique armaments, and more. There's a healthy amount of side quests, ranging from the straightforward scavenger quests to the bizarre body art, not even once. Most importantly, the combat is as strategic and visceral as you'd like, while rewarding straightforward hacking and slashing. Number 9, Everspace 2. It's incredible how the Everspace series started as a roguelite space shooter, especially with the sequel offering in-depth action RPG mechanics and boatloads of handcrafted content. There are extensive systems to explore, allies to recruit, each providing unique perks, and tons of loot to discover, including unique ships. While the story may not be for everyone, each system is packed with things to do, whether you jump into massive battles against capital ships or venture into endgame rifts. The incredible fidelity makes the space hopping that much more endearing. Number 8, Wild Hearts. Omega Force's Wild Hearts admittedly didn't pass much muster when it was announced to be a hunting title in the vein of Monster Hunter. Thankfully, the gameplay spoke for itself, showcasing a unique approach to action RPG with some inventive combat. The Karakuri mechanic, which facilitated building different tools to explore and fight, added some spice to battles. Each weapon, from the aerial brilliance of the claw blade to the unconventional bladed wagasa, is fun to use. Couple this with memorable kimono to battle, massive regions to explore, and a sizable endgame to go with the campaign, and Wild Heart stands capably on its own. Number 7, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. A year after Horizon Forbidden West blew our expectations away with its gorgeous visuals, deep skill system, customization, and combat, Burning Shores came along to remind us of its quality. Set in a separate region where lava streams and water meet, the expansion adds lots of new content, memorable new characters and quests, and one of the most epic final bosses yet. Whether you're venturing underwater or soaring through the skies, combing through new franken clouds while avoiding lightning, Burning Shores further builds on the base game's brilliance and offers some great development for Aloy's character. Number 6, Lies of P. It's 2023 and no Bloodborne remaster or remake. Not even a hint that it's ever even happening. Enter NeoWiz's Lies of P, a Belle Epoque era action RPG that is based on the tale of Pinocchio. This time, however, you venture through the ruined city of Krat, battling killer puppets to find Geppetto and hopefully set things right. The mood is already on point. It's the combat and pacing where Lies of P shows its hand. Special attacks and legion arms, customizable and unique weapons, memorable encounters against challenging enemies. It had everything a Souls-like fan could want. Number 5, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. With how extensive Update 2.0 turned out, Cyberpunk 2077 alone is a noteworthy RPG experience. However, Phantom Liberty does more than add new content, including courier missions to steal vehicles or airdrops to claim loot before rival gangs can. It has a compelling setting, a spy fantasy rife with intrigue and betrayal. Of course, for combat junkies, there are relic abilities from emergency cloaking to sending enemies flying with gorilla arms. And if that weren't enough, Phantom Liberty added new cyberware. Altogether, it's a fitting finale in Cyberpunk 2077's redemption arc. Number 4. Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy XVI means many different things to different people. Final Fantasy XVI may not have catered to everyone's wishes, especially those craving different things, but it certainly excelled with its combat and gameplay mechanics. The world and darker presentation fit the more mature tones well, even as the protagonist's journey went through ups and downs. The combat is also incredibly on point, especially when you gain more abilities to diversify combos. Stunning environments and an incredible graphics round out the package, and while it could have used a bit more extensive side quests, deeper roleplay mechanics, and more complex dungeons, Final Fantasy XVI is still a fun and enthralling action RPG from start to finish. Number 3. Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy offered something most Potterheads have desired for years, a proper AAA title to fulfill that wizarding fantasy. Hogwarts' School of Witchcraft and Wizardry is captured in immaculate detail, coupled with a memorable setting and some great side quests. Shuffling between spells during combat, especially turning someone into dust, felt great, but it was all the little things which really cemented the fantasy. All that's needed is actual classes to attend, and Quidditch, and Hogwarts Legacy will be perfect. Number 2. Baldurs Gate 3. 6 years in development with a lengthy period in early access, Baldurs Gate 3 is an intriguing role-playing game. The range of customization in combat caters to the Dungeons & Dragons fantasy of letting you roleplay as who you want. It's bolstered by a strong setting, decisions with far-reaching consequences, and incredible visuals that stay with you even over 100 hours in. There's plenty to criticize, like Act 3's performance, but the developer has been working hard to address other complaints. Whether you started at launch or are jumping in today, Baldur's Gate 3 is a masterpiece. Number 1. Starfield. Bethesda Game Studios' Starfield is our role-playing game of 2023, narrowly beating out some stiff competition. Don't get us wrong, several areas could be improved, from the user interface and variety of weapons to point of interest generation. Mods also needed to be added, yesterday. However, for those who get into it, Starfield has a quiet appeal as you wander the desolate planet, create an outpost to either settle down or mine resources, and just soak in the atmosphere. The sheer range of stuff to do, from surveying and space battles to smuggling and bounty hunting, is pretty solid and backed by some responsive shooter action. Where it goes next is anyone's guess, but Starfield is currently an intriguing sci-fi adventure with tons of content. It's certainly not for everyone, but those love it like us will have one of the most memorable gaming experiences of 2023. And with that, we reach the end of this video. Have anything to say? Let us know in the comments below. Also, we upload new videos every single day on Gaming Bolt, so please consider subscribing as it really helps us out. Thanks for watching.